Good morning, everyone. So, who is online? Am I audible? Ram, Sai, Rithi, Soumya, Venkatesh. Fine? Yeah, students are joining now. Am I audible? Yeah, Teja. Fine. So, we'll start very fresh session. Okay. We'll keep it aside what is judiciary, what is it, center-state relations, and what is local governance system and all. Today, we'll start from the beginning. Okay. Assume that we don't know anything. Today lecture is first lecture of polity. Fine. We'll start from the beginning. How? What is constitution? Where it is started? What are the main features of it? How it is evolved? Okay. Completely. What is the history behind the constitution? Fine. So we'll start it from the beginning. Fine. Okay. Any more members to come? So, what is constitution? How it is evolved? What are the features of it? Is first chapter. What we'll look in the first chapter is first evolution of the Indian Constitution. Fine. Salient features. Preamble and union territories. Fine. So, we'll see one by one how it is evolved and what are the salient features of it and what is preamble, how it is derived and what are the features of the what are the features of the our constitution, how constitution is drafted. Here one more thing, drafting committee. Drafting committee. Okay. From today onwards, I'll tell you the concept. Okay. I'll tell you the all concept regarding the features and the constitution. And again, if you refer Lakshmikant once, it will be enough for you. Okay. Teaching class notes plus Indian polity by Lakshmikant. Fine. So first, before going to the Indian constitution or evolution of Indian constitution, we'll see. First, we'll have a basic idea what is law, what is legislature, what is executive, and what is judiciary and all. So, first, at present, what is our situation? We'll see one by one, and then we'll go back to the past. Fine. So, purely political point of view. Fine. So, first thing, we have what? What is the job of the constitution? What is the main job of the constitution? What? Ruling. Rule of law. We based on what? Rule of law. And we are based on the principle of democracy. What is it? Democracy. Fine. Democracy. So, how to reach the democracy? Democracy means whatever the people need is there, that has to be served. Okay. The people are the source of the ruling. Fine. The aspirations of the people are solved directly. Maybe they involve directly or maybe they involve indirectly. But what will happen? They are the ultimate source for all the administration and maintaining the ruling, administration and development. Fine. So we have divided this democracy through, we are achieving this democracy through how? We have divided. Okay. What are those? Executive and legislature. I'll write legislature. Legislature, executive and judiciary. Fine. So what we are seeing is legislature. Legislature means the only job of the legislature, the primary job of the legislature is to make the laws. Make the laws. Fine, legislature will make the laws. That is very fine. But who will implement it? It is a job of executive. Implementation of law will be served by whom? Executive. Here also we have two types of executive. So far what I said, political executive and administrative executive. Okay. Even before basic terms, what it is means, it is divided into temporary executive, and permanent executive. This is a new concept. Who will be permanent executive and who is temporary executive? Temporary executive means a political executive because his term will be changing. Okay, his term will be for 5 years or for 6 years in US. Okay, so who are they? Political executives. Fine. Here, what is the case? Permanent executive means who are they? Civil administrators. Who are they? Civil administrators. Fine. Means all the bureaucrats will fall under permanent executives. All the political party, elected people, elected members by the political parties will come under the temporary executives. And judiciary. Judiciary to maintain what? To maintain justice. Okay. To serve justice. We established judiciary. Okay. We kept legislature, executive, judiciary all apart. Means we have differentiated all together differently. So, what we are doing here? What we are following now? It is nothing but a separation of powers. Means we are giving separate powers to executives, we are giving separate powers to judiciary, we are giving separate powers to what? Legislature. How we are giving powers? What are the powers? Means the classification, the separation of the powers, it means by the first is we are classifying their job. Classifying their job means their role is clearly mentioned according to the constitution. What is their job? Whatever their job is there, we are differentiating it. And second thing, checks and balances. Checks and balances. How checks and balances are organized? Means if executive something done wrong by using the legislature, the judiciary will review it. Fine. Judiciary is something going wrong. For suppose in impeachment, process maybe. The legislature and executive has a power to what? Enact a law. Enact a law to regulate the judiciary. So if one is overriding its power, over misusing its power, means another organ will keep it in control. And the supremacy of one organ is not entertained according to the constitution. Okay, so checks and balances, and there is no independent organ. You have to be very clear. There is no independent organ according to constitution. According to constitution, there is no independent organ. Means we are speaking sometimes independence of judiciary, independence of judiciary. There is nothing term called independence of judiciary. There's nothing called independence of executive system. There is nothing called independence of legislature system. They are interconnected together by means of checks and balances. Fine? Checks and balances. And to reduce the influence, what we are doing through the constitution is we are giving some privileges and immunities. And what? Immunities. Privileges and immunities to reduce the influence of the other organ, because they have to safely do the primary job. Fine. Without influence by some other thing. Then only the administration or the job will continue without the influence and without hiccups and all. Okay. It will be very clear. The road will be very clear for them. That's why they have some, even parliament has some special privileges, even executive has their special privileges, even judiciary has the specific privileges and immunities. Fine. So these are the what main important features for the what? Separation of powers. So we are balancing our system on three organs. What are they? Executive system, legislature system and judiciary. Fine. Clear. And we are following what? Democracy. And we have so many features in our constitutions like sovereignty, okay, sovereign, secular, equal opportunity, okay, political freedom, political expression of speech, but the question is why we are so particular about all these features, why we are mentioning, why we are pressing these all features in our constitution. What was the need? Means we have to jump into the history of constitution. Okay, when we adopted the constitution in 1950, January 26. When we adopted the constitution, that is January 26, 1950. Fine. But actually, when we got independence, August 15, 1947. Fine. So actually, we have started adopting in November itself, November 1949 itself. But actual date of complete execution is January 26 and 1950. That is because of some date. Okay. It is a request from the Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. We'll see in detail after the drafting committee and all. So When we got independence, August 15, 1947. It almost took 2.5 years to what? Draft our constitution. So why we took that much of time and what are the important features of it where we opted from it? Okay, we'll see all those features in this chapter. First, we'll go back to the 1700s. Fine, first we'll go to the 1600s. What is the link between the 1600s and our constitution? Because there only British came to India. British came to India. There is a very major remark of a British constitution and British rule in our constitution. To study all those things in detail, we have to know what happened in the past. Fine. So how it is affected? What about centralization? What about decentralization? What is the political impact of a British Empire on our constitution that we are using now? So if we want to know clearly, we have to go back to the past. So where we are now, 1600s. British came to India. First it came to Machilipatnam. That is fine. They mainly, they got a charter. Some whom? Elizabeth I. By charter, who came? East India Company. East India Company came to India. What charter 1? It is nothing but a permission of trade in Asia. Trade in Asia. Why they came? Mainly for the cotton and spices. Fine. Trade of what? Cotton, spices, etc. So they are trading well and good until 1700s. It was good only. Okay, they are only trading. But what happened here? They were gaining a lot of amount. They are taking our products for the very cheap and they are gaining their margins very, very profitable. And only one company was trading. That is nothing but a East India Company. Then what happened? They want to expand their trade. They started building forts. What they did? They started building forts here. But who were there in the 1700s? There were kingdoms. Mughals were ruling different type of kingdoms. Small princely states were there and all. So what happened? The king of Awadh, king of Bengal, fine. So there was kingdoms. Then what happened in all over the northern states and all? Who were there? Mughal Empire was there. And when they came initially, the Mughals were resisted to give the trade permission. And then later on what happened? Jahangir gave the permission for trade. Gave the permission for trade. Fine. He gave only permission for the trade. Who is Jahangir? Mughal Empire. Okay. Then okay, they are trading and they started building forts. This forts concept does not accepted by whom? The kings. Who are they to build forts in our kingdom? Okay. Then what happened? First, in 1757. What happened? In 1757, there was a war between the British India Company, what? British East India Company and Between whom? King of Bengal. This is called what? Battle of Plassey. Fine. The Nawab was whom? Siraj Uddaulah. Siraj Uddaulah. Fine. Siraj Uddaulah. That was fine. They were fighting, but because of the betrayal of whom? A commander here of Siraj Uddaulah. What happened? He lost the battle. The Nawab lost the battle. And who won that? British East India Company won the battle of what? Battle of Plassey. So what happened? They just came for the trade. For the first time, what happened? They got Diwani rights. What happened? They started in Bengal. That what happened? They are collecting revenues. Means taxes. Fine. How they came? They came for the purely trade purpose. Now what they are doing? Collecting taxes. Collecting taxes is the job of whom? Executive. Fine. Executive. Then they didn't like the idea. The Nawabs didn't like the idea. Who they are to what? Occupy or invade our kingdoms. Then what happened? All together. Means it is 1764. What happened? Battle of Buxar. What is it? Battle. Yeah, good morning. Of Buxar. Who fought the battle? So one side, who were there? British East India Company. Fine. Who was there in British East India Company? There was Robert Clive. It was Robert Clive. Fine. So here, that time Munro was there. Fine. Munro. And Battle of Buxar, it is a war between whom? British East India Company versus Nawab of Bengal and Nawab of Awadh and Mughal Empire. Who is there that time? Shah Alam II. Shah Alam II. Then what happened? There was a fight and who won? British East India Company won. Okay. First, the Mughals were resistant to give even the trade rights. And then what happened? Jahangir gave the trade rights to the East India Company. And then what happened? They won the Battle of Buxar. That is a very eventual turning point for the British East India Company. What happened? East India Company evolution started there. Fine. Their dominance started there. Then it was a compulsion on Shah Alam that Shah Alam II granted Diwani rights. What he did? Granted Diwani rights. This is very important because it turned the system. How? Before that, what is the purpose? Only trade, means only business. They were paying taxes for the trade. But here what happened? Diwani rights includes executive powers, and judicial powers also. What are those? Executive powers and judicial powers. Executive powers means of what? Tax collection. Even they got all judicial powers regarding the civil cases. Fine. Civil case means indirectly they took everything. They are kings for that. Where it is expanded, where it was first after Plassey, Battle of Plassey, it was only to Bengal. Now it is expanded to what? Awadh also means Bengal, Odisha, Bihar. Now the situation in Bengal, Bihar, and Odisha means they occupied it. Even they are maintaining the same in where? Madras and Calcutta. Fine. They were doing the same in Madras and Calcutta. Means they are collecting the taxes, they are generating revenue for them, and they are doing the civil judgments also. Means they became king indirectly. Means politically, legally, they got Diwani rights. Okay, so then what happened? This happened in 1764. Even that before, what used to happen is in 50s. Who gave the permission? Queen Elizabeth gave the permission to East India Company. To what? To trade. Means it have to pay tax in India also to the kings, and it has to pay the tax to whom? The British Empire also. But what happened? What used to happen? The employees used to come. They used to become very rich. But the company is not being profitable. Fine. They used to become very, very, very rich because of corruption. What it is? Corruption. Actual bribery, actual corruption is introduced by what? In our executive system? British only. Okay. They boomed pillars for the corruption and bribery. Okay. So what happened? The company is what? Not getting any profits. Company is droning, but the employees who were working were more becoming rich and rich and rich. So what they want, what the empire want is regularization of East India Company. Fine. They want to regularize the company. Then what happened? In this process, Regularization Act came. And Pitt's India Acts came. Charter Acts came. And then what happened? So we'll divide, I'll give a brief idea how it is evolved. Okay, fine. From one area to one area, how we are involved, I'll tell you. So the complete evolution of Indian Constitution is from where? It is 1773 to 1857 to 1947. Fine. From here, regularization started. Okay. Here, the East India Company has gone and British rule was started. And here we got independence. And from here to here, 1950, we adopted the constitution. Okay. So, how to divide this is 1773 to 1857. Sorry. 1857 and 1857 to 1947 will divide these topics. Fine. So, what we'll see between 1773 to 1857 is the who is ruling? East India Company rule. East India Company rule. Fine. So here what become? Regularization, Pitt's India Act, and Charter Acts. Fine. From here to here, who ruled? They abolished the monopoly of East India Company and they took British Empire to control. British Empire rule. Empire's rule. Okay. To maintain what they have done here, it is a crown rule. Fine. We have seen Minto Marley reforms. And sorry? Yeah. Okay. 1909. And what we have seen, Government of India Act. There also Government of India Act. Okay, 1838 also one will be there, first act. And then 1935, the last Government of India Acts. What are the acts here? We'll see. Okay. Fine. So first is divided through the Charter Acts and sorry. Pen. Okay. Sorry, I didn't get you. Yes, I have. Yeah. No, it's okay. Check. Oh. Is it working? Check it once. Is it working? So we'll divide what is company rule and then we got independence here. Fine. Okay, this all we'll see is how the decentralization happened, how the centralization happened, and how they have divided the powers and what are the main features, how emergency evolved. Okay, what are the related items we'll see, and how we have to see in polity point of view is we are dividing it into 3 phases. Fine. First phase, second phase, and third phase. First phase, how they did? One is executive system, permanent executive system, and temporary executive system. Fine. Lawmaking, initially lawmaking and executive was single part for the British Crown. How it was? Lawmaking plus executive was single body. Fine. So, what is the role of Indians? We have to see. Initially, Indians were not allowed. not allowed. Okay. Then what happened? Indians were allowed. Indians were allowed. But they are not involved in the budget making. Fine. They're not involved in budget making. And in the last stage, what happened? Indians are were involved even in the ministries. In the ministries. Fine. What is the role of Indians according to the what? First phase, second phase, third phase? We have to see through the acts. Fine. See, I'll explain you whenever it is needed and all. And I'll tell you what are the charter acts now and how to see the charter acts we'll discuss tomorrow. Not tomorrow, day after tomorrow. Fine. Tomorrow there won't be polity class. Fine. No polity class. So we'll see today what are the charter acts, what is regulation act, why it is needed and all, and what is the summary of it, how to see in the perspective of polity, we'll discuss tomorrow. Fine. So far it is clear? Yeah, fine. So what we'll do, we are dividing it into two parts, where from 1757 to 1853. What happened in 1857? Sipai mutiny. So it was very severe, so that the British Crown directly started rulings. Fine, from 1857. That's why we call it as 1858 to 1947 Crown Rule. And 1947, we got independence. Fine. So, how was the company rule from 1757 to where? 1854. Fine. 1853. First one, the Regulating Act 1773. As I said, what happened? The company was droning, but the employees were becoming rich. So what it want to do is, it want to regularize the what? Company, British East India Company. Even that has a Diwani rights then in 64 completely, but before that in 1757 it got what? Of Bengal, and in 1764 for Awadh also, means Bihar, Odisha and Bengal. Fine. So it got Diwani rights also. It was looting like anything else. Even they established the corporations of Madras and Bombay. Bombay was not direct invasion of the British. It was gifted as a dowry. Okay, it was gifted as a dowry to Charles II. Fine. It was not the direct invasion. They came to Machilipatnam first and then to Gujarat. Fine. So, what happened in the Regulating Act 1773? So, what happened? They constituted like court of directors. Okay. How many members were there? The changes were court of directors. Court of directors where they'll stay here and they'll report directly to the British Empire. Report directly to British Empire. Fine. Up to then the term was called Governor of Bengal. Okay. But we have how many things? We have Madras also, we have Calcutta also, Fine. Calcutta means Bengal. Okay, we have Bombay also. But each and every state, every province has the general. But after this, what they did, Governor General of Bengal, and they made subordinates Madras and Calcutta. Madras and Calcutta. Means అంతకు ముందు ఎవరుండే ఓన్లీ జనరల్ ఆఫ్ గవర్నర్ ఆఫ్ బెంగాల్. ఫైన్. సో ఎవరి ప్రావిన్స్ వాళ్ళు రూల్ చేసుకునేవా, ఎవరి అటానమీ వాళ్ళకు ఉండేది. అంటే ఏంటది, డీసెంట్రలైజేషన్. ఫస్ట్ ఇట్ వాస్ బిఫోర్ రెగ్యులేటింగ్ యాక్ట్. ఏముంది ఇక్కడ, వాట్ వీ కెన్ అబ్జర్వ్, బిఫోర్ regulating act it was decentralized system. Fine. Then what happened, by regulating act of 1773 they made Governor General of Bengal as highest authority. So what happened? All subordinates evaru Madras and Calcutta just means centralization. They are making centralization. Center and everything under the control of center. Fine. This is called what? Centralization. Why we are studying this historical background is for this purpose only. For this purpose only. Want to come? Yeah. So centralization, this one. And before that, it was decentralized type of ruling. And he is under the control of court of directors. Court of directors ki ఆయన report చేయాలి. ఎవరు? The General of Bengal. Okay. Governor General of Bengal has to report what? Whose court of directors. Fine. Unified civil and military administration. So మనకు 1773 వరకే దివానీ రైట్స్ వచ్చేసినాయి. దివానీ రైట్స్ వచ్చేసినాయి. దే స్టార్టెడ్ మేకింగ్ దేర్ ఓన్ ఆర్మీ. దే యూస్ టు కలెక్ట్ ద టాక్సెస్. దే హ్యావ్ టు స్పెండ్ ఆన్ దేర్ ఆర్మీస్. అంటే వాళ్ళ పొటెన్షియల్ ఎక్స్పాండ్ చేసుకోవడానికి, వాళ్ళ వెల్త్ పెంచుకోవడానికి వాళ్ళు స్టార్ట్ చేసారు. దేని పేరుతోని? సివిలైజేషన్ పేరు. సివిలైజేషన్ అంటే ఏంటి? వాళ్ళు స్టార్ట్ చేసింది ఏంటి? కార్పొరేషన్స్. కార్పొరేషన్స్ అంటే ఏంటి? సడన్ గా ఈ ఊరు ఉంది, హైదరాబాద్ సిటీనే ఉంది, ఈ రోజు ఇది కార్పొరేషన్ కాదు, మనం మామూలుగానే ఉంది. పొద్దున్న లేచేసరికి అది కార్పొరేషన్ అయింది అనుకుంది. అంటే నీ ఇంట్లోంచి చెత్త తీసుకెళ్ళడానికి నువ్వు డబ్బులు కట్టాలి, నీకు వాటర్ ఇవ్వడానికి నీకు డబ్బులు కట్టాలి, నీకు స్ట్రీట్ లైట్ ఫెసిలిటీ ఇవ్వడానికి నువ్వు డబ్బులు కట్టాలి. అంతకు ముందు కూడా ఫెసిలిటీస్ ఉన్నాయి, కాకపోతే దట్ వాజ్ నాట్ ఛార్జబుల్. ఎప్పుడైతే కార్పొరేషన్ ఇన్వాల్వ్ అయిందో, అంటే మనల్ని సివిలైజేషన్ స్టార్ట్ చేసిండ్రో, మనల్ని సివిలైజ్ చేయడం స్టార్ట్ చేసిండ్రో, అంటే ఇండైరెక్ట్లీ దే ఆర్ కలెక్టింగ్ ట్యాక్సెస్. మనల్ని లూటీ స్టార్ట్ చేసిండ్రు అనమాట. మన వాట్ అసెట్స్ నే కాకుండా వాట్ దే హ్యావ్ స్టార్టెడ్ కంప్లీట్ గా ఇండివిజువల్. యా చెప్పండి. ఓకే, ఏ బ్యాచ్ అండి మీరు? దేనికోసం? ఓకే, మీడియం. ఓకే. So what happened? They started what? Looting us. So ఏం చేసిండ్రు? They have investing, they are collecting the taxes and they are building their empire completely. Okay, this is evolution of constitution, historical background we are discussing. Fine. So what happened? They are building their own armed forces. అయితే before that it was not control of the British Empire. It was completely ruled by the what? East India Company. Okay, they were building their own services, and but they want to regularize it, means they have to report at center. Fine. Even the centralization above the East India Company. Here, East India Company, above also what? Their centralization started. Means this, they have to, the Governor General of Bengal has to report Court of Directors. Court of Directors are accountable in British Empire. Means British Parliament law, they have to give their voice. ఏమైనా కానీ అడ్రస్ చేయాల్సింది ఎవరు? కోర్ట్ ఆఫ్ డైరెక్టర్స్. ఎక్కడ? ఇన్ బ్రిటిష్ పార్లమెంట్. మీన్స్ only Indian matters. To rule only Indian matters, what they have done, Court of Directors ni betti, Court of Directors ki ever report cheyali? The Governor General of Bengal. Governor General of Bengal ki ever unnaru? Bombay and Calcutta generals. Fine. Sorry, Bombay and Madras. Bengal ante Calcutta kada. Okay. Bombay and Madras. Fine. So they have organized the way completely in centralized manner. To why? To be more transparent. Because what is missing? Transparency is missing. The word complete EIC was East India Company was corrupted. Okay. And inkoka problem kuda valaku vachindi oka issue. If it is more profitable, we may lose the control over the East India Company. Fine. కంపెనీ అనేది స్ట్రాంగ్ అవుతుంది, ఎంప్లాయీస్ అనే వాళ్ళు స్ట్రాంగ్ అవుతుంది. దే ఆర్ బిల్డింగ్ దర్ ఓన్ ఆర్మ్ ఫెసిలిటీస్. మనకు ట్యాక్సెస్ చూపిస్తున్నారు కానీ దే ఆర్ గెటింగ్ ప్రాఫిటెడ్. వీఆర్ నాట్, ఎంపైర్ ఈస్ నాట్ గెటింగ్ ప్రాఫిటెడ్. సో వీఆర్ లూజింగ్ ఇట్, వీఆర్ లూజింగ్ ద కంట్రోల్ ఆఫ్ ఇట్. సో డీసెంట్రలైజేషన్ స్టేట్ నుంచి వాళ్ళు ఏం చేసుకున్నారు? సెంట్రలైజ్ స్టేట్ కి వాళ్ళు చేసుకున్నారు. అండ్ యూనిఫైడ్ సివిల్ అండ్ మిలిటరీ అడ్మినిస్ట్రేషన్. సో వాళ్ళు ఒక కోడ్ కండక్ట్ చేసి they made some rule, okay, that has to be followed by whom? This Governor General of India is accountable to that. Fine. And they established Supreme Court in Calcutta in 1774. Okay, this was the first court and it is established in 1774. Okay, do you have any doubts? Okay, fine. So Supreme Court at Calcutta was established when? In 1774. Fine. And no overriding power and casting vote. Operational challenges. Operational challenges ante means before that what we used to have, we have separate generals for the Bombay, Calcutta and Madras. And overriding vote gani, power gani వాళ్ళకి ఏవి ఇయ్యలేదన్నమాట. ఓటింగ్ పవర్ గాని అండ్ కంప్లీట్ సబార్డినేట్స్. ఫైన్. సో వాళ్ళు ఏం చేసిండ్రు? కంప్లీట్ గా ఇప్పుడు ఒకరి నుంచి ఒకరికి వస్తుంది కాబట్టి, ఇప్పుడు ఇండివిజువల్ గా వస్తుంది కాబట్టి ఆ ఏరియాలో ఎంత రెవెన్యూ ఉందో వాళ్ళు దే యూస్ టు లూట్. బట్ వాట్ హ్యాపెండ్? దే ఆర్ రెగ్యులరైజింగ్. మీన్స్ one has to send the report to another, one has to send the report to another, but still this was not effective. It was not giving effective results because there were so many leakages and all. Fine. So what happened? They made another rule when 1784, means after 10 years. What is it? After 10 years, they made another act, that is Pitt's India Act. Fine. It is in 1784 and Supreme Court established by British government. And what is the situation in 1784? It was almost expanded all over India. Okay, all over India. East India Company's rule was expanded. Fine. Okay. So, and Board of Control undi kada. Means we have a Court of Directors and they created Board of Control in the Indian level in India. For which matters? to control executive matters. Executive matters. Fine. So, supreme control by the complete British government. Means what? They want to control. And monopoly guda, only what happened? What is monopoly? The trade license was given to only East India Company. Means who can trade? No, not other company from the British. Only East India Company has a permission to trade. ఏం ఎక్స్పోర్ట్స్ చేసుకోవాలన్నా అదే, ఏం ఇంపోర్ట్స్ చేసుకోవాలన్నా అది మాత్రమే. దట్ ఈస్ కాల్డ్ మోనోపోలీ. ఓన్లీ దట్ కెన్ డూ. ఫైన్, సింగిల్. ఆ మోనోపోలీ కూడా వాళ్ళు లేటర్ ఆన్ తీసేసినాం. విల్ సీ ఇన్ ద చార్టర్ యాక్ట్స్. ఓకే, ఫాలోయింగ్ దిస్ ఇస్ ద ఫస్ట్ వీ హ్యావ్ Regulating Act and then Pitt's India Act and Charter Acts. Okay, fine. So, subordination of presidencies. ఈ ఎగ్జిక్యూటివ్ బాడీస్ కి ఏమైపోయింది? సబార్డినేట్స్. మీన్స్ ఇప్పుడు ఫస్ట్ మనం రెగ్యులేటింగ్ యాక్ట్ లో ఏం చేస్తాము? గవర్నర్ జనరల్ ఆఫ్ ఇండియాకి సబార్డినేట్స్ ఫర్ ద మద్రాస్ అండ్ బాంబే. అండ్ హియర్ ఆల్ ఓవర్ ద ఇండియా ఏమైపోయిందంటే ప్రెసిడెన్సీస్ సబార్డినేట్ చేస్తాయి. సబార్డినేట్ ఎవరు ఆర్గనైజ్ చేసింది? మనం బోర్డ్ ఆఫ్ కంట్రోల్. దెర్ ఆర్ ఎ గ్రూప్ ఆఫ్ పీపుల్ ఫర్ ద ఎగ్జిక్యూషన్. ఇంతకు ముందు మనకు ఎట్లుంది? ఎగ్జిక్యూషన్, జుడిషియరీ అన్ని కలిపి ఎగ్జిక్యూటివ్ అండ్ లా మేకింగ్. లా కూడా వాళ్ళే చేసుకుంటుంది. ఎవరు? బ్రిటిష్ ఈస్ట్ ఇండియా కంపెనీ. అండ్ దెన్ వాట్ హ్యాపెన్? ఈవెన్ ఫర్ ద బట్ జుడిషియరీ మనం ఏంటి? సపరేట్ చేస్తున్నాం. ఎక్కడ? రెగ్యులేటింగ్ యాక్ట్ లోపల. బట్ still executive and executing and legislature was still together. Fine. And Pitt's India Act lo em chestamante manam, we are separating the executive body slowly. Charter Acts kochesariki complete ga executive ni, law making ni and legislature ni we got separate. Here what happened? Up to now executive plus law is same. Fine. Judiciary is a separate one. Now what we are doing, the subordination of presidencies to whom? Board of control. That is the executive body. And Governor General's authority is an overriding power. ఇంతకు ముందు ఏమైంది? రెగ్యులేటింగ్ యాక్ట్ లోపల గవర్నర్ జనరల్ జస్ట్ నాట్ ఓవర్ రైడింగ్ పవర్ అనమాట. అంటే వాట్ ఎవర్ హీ వాంట్స్ టు డూ హీ కెనాట్ డూ. స్లోలీ ఏమైపోతుందంటే హీఈస్ బికమింగ్ ద వైస్ రాయ్. Okay, they are empowered the governors general that they are making a president for the India almost. If we say in our words, they are giving some special powers to Governor General of Bengal. Fine. And then what happened? Overriding power means the remaining generals ఎవరైతే ఉన్నారో కంప్లీట్ ఎవరి కంట్రోల్లోకి వెళ్ళిపోయినారు ఇప్పుడు? Governor General of Bengal. Fine. And centralized administration. Why centralized administration completely? It is completely achieved here. Okay. Completely achieved here. Why? We are empowering Governor General of Bengal. Fine. We are completely giving power to the Governor General of Bengal. And two masters Lord Cornwallis means we are separated the commander in chief. Commander in chief means we are separating army here, means military. Fine. And we are separating Governor General. Means these two powers now invested with whom? Lord Cornwallis means the Governor General. In before that, what may happen? There is a unified civil and military administration that has led from the rule. Okay, crown. Okay. But what happened? The Governor General, now he is a chief commander of armed forces. So he has a military power also. He has governance power also. Okay, so we have empowered whom? The Governor General. We have increased the power. So complete centralization of India is done through the Pitt's India Act. Fine. Now the Charter Acts. Okay. Charter Acts one by one we'll see. What are the major changes also we'll see. Okay. So what happened? Charter Act of 1793. So everything was good. Charter Acts, what it have done is slowly it have taken the power from the East India Company. Okay. These Charter Acts eventually transferred the power from East India Company to British Crown. After finishing of Charter Acts, the British Empire started directly ruling the India. Fine. So what happened in the Charter Acts? We'll see. First Charter Act was 1793. Okay. And strengthened the power of Governor General and codified laws. The main intention of Charter Act was the laws were not known by the people. Fine. First thing is public awareness. Okay. And Governor General become but more powerful. Okay. More powerful. And public awareness of law. They want to tell what are the laws. Why they want to give the public awareness? What is the need? Yes, because they want to regularize the complete empire because they have almost took the India. Fine. They started their rule indirectly through the East India Company. Fine. That time also, who was ruling? East India Company was ruling because they have a Diwani rights and there were no kings were involving and all. If the kings were not supporting, what they used to do? They used to snatch and they used to keep on making alliances. Fine. They used to grant some money and they used to grant some military powers. They used to share armed forces to attack their enemies. So they had almost all tie-ups. Indirectly, whatever British wants to do, that will happen in even the kingdoms of others. Fine. Who have their alliances. Fine. So what happened? They want to make powerful. Why? They want to take all over the control of India. Completely from the kings. They started from the Charter Acts only. They started their move to the Charter Acts. Hence, if you see observably, they didn't invade it directly. They completely invaded India in a political manner. One by one, one step by one step. Even Minte Morley reforms is there, no? When that one also, that only the criteria that has divided the subcontinent into India and Pakistan. Fine. So, very intelligently means Chapakinda Neerlaga, completely they have spread their empire. Okay, with tie-ups and all. So, why they want to know is they want to impose taxes, basically. And they want to know that, they want to tell the public that we are the rulers. Fine. Before that, they don't know any laws. They were under the kings. Fine. The ruling was completely different. Why they want to give the awareness? Because they want to create that in the people that we are the masters of you. Fine. Even to strengthen their empire, they used to get the slaves from the Africa in their army. They used to get the slaves from there and they strengthened their armed power. Fine. There is a massive migration from them and they took the slaves from them. And foundation of written laws. This is important. What is our constitution? Our constitution is written constitution. Fine. Even British constitution is unwritten. But our constitution is written constitution. So, here is the foundation for the written constitution of our Indian constitution. Fine. Where it is started in the Charter Act of 1793. Fine. So what happened? There they made a written laws. Fine. and they want to give started public awareness through it, and exclusion of Indian from authority. Means this is a first phase. As we discussed, what we have discussed. No. First phase, initially Indians were not allowed. Fine. They resisted Indians. They didn't take Indians in the public services also, in civil services also, even in the administration, even in the lawmaking, even in the judiciary. They have completely what? Abandoned. Indians were not encouraged. Then what happened? Laterly, they started open competition for the civil services. There, the Indians' entry came into it. Fine. But initially, in first phase, Indians were not allowed in any executive, legislative, or judicial body. Fine. So, exclusion of Indians from the authority. Means there is a doubt that before there are Indians exist. Yes. Like what? There were tie-ups. Fine. There used to be some negotiations that yes, my like from the bonds and all, my relatives, my special persons has to be in your control, okay, in your governance. Then what happened? By Charter Act, they have completely, there is a complete exclusion of Indians. Why? Means they started bribing the company a lot. Means tie-up చేసుకుంటున్నారు కదా వాళ్ళు, వీళ్ళ కింగ్డమ్ తోని టైఅప్ చేసుకుంటే దే యూస్ టు కలెక్ట్ దెమ్ టాక్సెస్, మనమే పన్ను కట్టాం. ఏమయ్యేది? ఇప్పుడు ఐ హ్యావ్ ఎ కింగ్డమ్, మీది బ్రిటిష్ ఎంపైర్, మీరు నాకు సపోర్ట్ ఎట్లా ఇస్తారు? నా చుట్టూ అప్పుడు ఏమైపోయినాయంటే వీ హ్యావ్ వెరీ వెరీ స్మాల్ 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 పోర్షన్స్, ప్రిన్స్లీ స్టేట్స్. ఫైన్. నా చుట్టూ ఎనిమీస్ ఉంటారు, సో నేను వాళ్ళతో ఫైట్ చేయలేను. ఐ డోంట్ హ్యావ్ దట్ మచ్ ఆర్మీ. నేను ఎవరితో టైఅప్ అవుతా? బ్రిటిష్ వచ్చి నాతో టైఅప్ అవుతారు టు సపోర్ట్ ఆర్మ్డ్ ఫోర్సెస్, బికాస్ ఇట్ హ్యాస్ అ స్ట్రాంగ్ ఆర్మ్డ్ ఫోర్సెస్ అండ్ న్యూ వెపన్స్. వాళ్ళ దగ్గర గన్స్ కానీ తోప్స్ కానీ అన్ని ఉన్నాయి. సో వాట్ హ్యాపెండ్? ఐ నీడ్ టు పే సమ్ ట్యాక్సెస్ టు దెమ్. నేనేం చేస్తా? నా రిలేటివ్ ఎవరినో, బామ్మర్దిని కావచ్చు, నా కొడుకుని కావచ్చు, ఇంకో కొడుకుని కావచ్చు, ఎవరినో నేను ఇన్వాల్వ్ చేస్తా. వాళ్ళు ఏమైపోతారు? వాళ్ళు మీ దగ్గర ఉంటారు, మీ అడ్మినిస్ట్రేషన్స్ లోపల. వాళ్ళు టైఅప్ అయిపోయి, ఇట్ ఈస్ నాట్ బ్రిటిష్ రూల్, ఇట్ ఈస్ ఈస్ట్ ఇండియా కంపెనీ రూల్. వాట్ దే యూస్ టు డూ, ఆ ట్యాక్సెస్ లోపల సగమే పే చేసేవాళ్ళు అనమాట, వాళ్ళు టైఅప్ అయిపోయి కంప్లీట్ గా. సో ఏమయ్యేది? కరప్షన్ అనేది కంప్లీట్ గా సేమ్ థింగ్. వాళ్ళు ఎందుకు రెగ్యులరైజ్ చేయాలనుకున్నారు అసలు ఈస్ట్ ఇండియా కంపెనీని? ఈ సెల్ఫ్ ప్రాఫిట్ అవాయిడ్ చేసేసి కంప్లీట్ గా బ్రిటిష్ ఎంపైర్ కి ప్రాఫిటబుల్ కావాలి. స్టిల్ ఇట్ వాస్ నాట్ వర్కింగ్. సో వాట్ హ్యాపెన్? అండ్ ఇంకొకటి, ఈస్ట్ ఇండియా కంపెనీ స్ట్రెంగ్తన్ అయిపోతుంది. అది మరీ పవర్ఫుల్ గా అయితే ఏమవుతుంది? they'll lose control. British Empire will lose control. Then what they started? Exclusion from the Indian authority. Authority లోంచి వాళ్ళని మెల్లగా అంటే వాళ్ళు ఉంటారు యాజ్ ఎ మెంబర్స్, కాకపోతే వాళ్ళకి ఎట్లాంటి పవర్ కానీ పార్టిసిపేషన్ కానీ డెసిషన్ మేకింగ్ కానీ ఉండదు అనమాట. ఎనీ పవర్ కూడా వాళ్ళకు ఉండదు. సో కంప్లీట్లీ దే హ్యావ్ ఎక్స్క్లూడెడ్ బై ద చార్టర్ యాక్ట్. ఓకే, ఇట్ ఈస్ ఫస్ట్ చార్టర్ యాక్ట్. ఇట్ ఈస్ 1793. ఫైన్. Is this clear? What we have seen so far? Regulating Act and Pitt's India Act and Charter Act 1, 1793. And next Charter Act is of 1813. Means after 20 years. Fine. Then what happened? 1800 means it is complete, almost all. అన్ని చిన్న చిన్న ముక్కలు అయిపోయినాయి ఇండియా లోపల. సో ఆల్మోస్ట్ ఆల్ అన్ని టైఅప్ అయిపోయినాయి. వెరీ ఫ్యూ అరౌండ్ 20 స్టేట్స్ అట్లా రెసిస్ట్ చేస్తున్నాయి. సో వాట్ హ్యాపెండ్? దెన్ ఆ కంప్లీట్ ఇన్వేజన్ అనేది వాళ్ళు స్టార్ట్ చేయాలన్నమాట. ఫైన్. సో వాట్ దే బిల్ట్ విల్ సీ. అండ్ కమిటీ ఆఫ్ ఇన్వెస్టిగేషన్. Here what happened? They made so many changes, but still the situation is same. So they have started investigation on what? Yes, East India Company. And వాళ్ళ మోనోపోలీ ఏదైతే ఉంది కదా, ఐ మీన్స్ దే ఓన్లీ కెన్ ట్రేడ్. దే క్యాన్సిల్ ద ట్రేడ్, దే క్యాన్సిల్ ద మోనోపోలీ, దే క్యాన్సిల్ ద monopoly of what? East India Company, except tea trading with China. Except what? Except tea trading with China. Fine. Except that means they have a open what notification for all. If anybody want to trade in India, they can trade now. Not only the East India Company. They came here with the charter by Elizabeth I. Now that is abolished. Monopoly అనేది cancel అయిపోయింది. Opening of Indian trade to all Britishers. To all British companies. Fine. Next, the committees of investigation, because it's almost out of control. ఎంత వెల్త్ అయిపోయింది అంటే వాళ్ళ దగ్గర కంప్లీట్ గా ఒక జనరల్ దగ్గర అయితే ఇన్వెస్టిగేట్ చేస్తే వాళ్ళ బడ్జెట్ కంటే ఎక్కువ వెల్త్ ఆయన దగ్గర ఉంది. So it turned completely, he was, when investigation started and all, he was got suicided and all because he cannot face them. So anta wealth deposit అయిపోయింది ఎవరి నుంచి ఇండియన్స్ నుంచి, but that is not going into the crown. So they took decision that okay మనం ఇన్వెస్ట్ చేసి enough is enough, we are closing the chapter of East India Company. From now onwards we will take care of what? Ruling. Okay, slowly first open చేస్తుంది, ఓపెన్ చేసిన తర్వాత సిపాయి మ్యూటినీ వరకు ఇట్ వాజ్ రెగ్యులరైజింగ్. సిపాయి మ్యూటినీ తర్వాత కంప్లీట్ కంట్రోల్ తీసేసుకుంది, కంప్లీట్ గా డైరెక్ట్ రూల్ అండర్ బ్రిటిష్. అది ఎక్కడి నుంచి వస్తుంది? 1858 లోపల సిపాయి మ్యూటినీ అయిన తర్వాత గవర్నమెంట్ ఆఫ్ ఇండియా యాక్ట్ వస్తుంది, ఫస్ట్ గవర్నమెంట్ ఆఫ్ ఇండియా యాక్ట్. అక్కడి నుంచి ద బ్రిటిష్ రూల్ ఇస్ స్టార్టెడ్. ఫైన్. సో Lord Wesley Subsidiary Alliance. Subsidiary Alliance means, this is very important. Subsidiary Alliance. You have completed history, right? Indian history. Anybody online? What is Subsidiary Alliance? What is Subsidiary Alliance? Yeah, tell. Yes. మేము మీకు ఏమి ఇస్తాం? ఆర్మీస్. మీరు మాకేమి ఇవ్వాలి? మాకు అవసరం పడ్డప్పుడు ఆర్మీ సపోర్ట్ కూడా ఇవ్వాలి, మా కింద మీరు వర్క్ చేయాలి. మీన్స్ ఎగ్జిక్యూషన్ లోపల, లెజిస్లేచర్ లోపల, టాక్సేషన్ లోపల విల్ బి హ్యావింగ్ ద షేర్. మేము ఓన్లీ ఎందులో ఇన్వాల్వ్ చేసుకుంటాం? ఆర్మీలో. ఆర్మీ మాత్రమే. ఆర్మీ షేర్డ్ బై బ్రిటిష్. ఫైన్. బట్ బ్రిటిషర్స్ కి సపరేట్ కింగ్డమ్ ఏమి ఇవ్వాలి? ఎగ్జిక్యూటివ్ లోపల ప్లస్ లెజిస్లేచర్ లోపల ప్లస్ టాక్సెస్ షేర్ ఇవ్వాలన్న. దే హ్యావ్ టు బి గివెన్ వెరీ మచ్ ఇంపార్టెన్స్. ద సేమ్ హ్యాపెన్ టు ద హూమ్? Nizam of Hyderabad. Fine. He was the first to join the Subsidiary Alliance. Fine. So even what army was held here, troop was held here. వాళ్ళ మెయింటెనెన్స్ కూడా ఎవరు చూసుకోవాలి? ఆ కింగే చూసుకోవాలి. వాళ్ళ అకామిడేషన్, వాళ్ళ డిమాండ్స్, వాళ్ళ ఫుడ్, వాళ్ళ ఎక్విప్మెంట్ మెయింటెనెన్స్ కూడా ఎవరు చూసుకోవాలి? ఆ కింగే చూసుకోవాలి. పైనుంచి ఎగ్జిక్యూటివ్ కౌన్సిల్ లోపల వాళ్ళు ఏంది వాళ్ళకి ప్లేస్ ఉంటుంది, వాళ్ళు పార్టిసిపేట్ చేస్తారు, వాళ్ళకి వీటో పవర్ ఉంటుంది. ఇఫ్ దే సేస్ నో, నో. ఓకే, కంప్లీట్ గా అంటే పేరు వాళ్ళది బట్ రూలింగ్ ఎవరిది? బ్రిటిషర్స్. ఫైన్. దట్ ఈస్ నథింగ్ బట్ ఏ సబ్సిడరీ అలయన్స్. సో నెక్స్ట్ ఏముంది? ఫినాన్షియల్ క్రైసిస్. ఫినాన్షియల్ క్రైసిస్ ఎక్కడ వచ్చిందండి? బెంగాల్ లోపల ఫెమైన్ వస్తుంది మనకి. ఎక్కడ వస్తుంది? బెంగాల్. ఫెమైన్ వస్తుంది ఎప్పుడు? 1808. వాళ్ళు మేనేజ్ చేయలేకపోతారు. ఓకే, దే కెనాట్ మేనేజ్. వై? బికాస్ గవర్నమెంట్ ఉందంటే ఇట్ కెన్ బి మేనేజ్డ్. ఇక్కడ ఏమవుతుంది, దర్ ఈస్ అ కంపెనీ అండ్ అమౌంట్ ఎప్పుడైనా కానీ వెళ్ళిపోతుంది. ఒకటి వాళ్ళకి వెళ్ళిపోతుంది ఇండివిజువల్ అకౌంట్ కి, ఇంకొకటి బ్రిటిష్ రూల్ కి వెళ్ళిపోతుంది. సో దే ఆర్ నాట్ మెయింటైనింగ్. వచ్చినంత వరకు బాగానే ఉంది. వాళ్ళ మిస్ ఆర్గనైజేషన్ వల్ల కంప్లీట్ గా ఎవరు ఎఫెక్ట్ అయినరు, బెంగాల్ ఎఫెక్ట్ అయ్యారు. ఆ ఫెమైన్ వచ్చినప్పుడు వర్స్ట్ సిచ్యువేషన్ అయిపోతుంది అనమాట. ఇట్స్ అ వెరీ బిగ్ ఫ్రాడ్. దే కెనాట్ కంట్రోల్, ఏం చేయరు. అండ్ హైయెస్ట్ రెవెన్యూ ఎక్కడి నుంచి డెవలప్ అవుతుంటది, బెంగాల్ నుంచి డెవలప్ అవుతుంటది. సో ఫైనాన్షియల్ క్రైసిస్ ఒకటి ఎంప్లాయీస్ వల్ల వస్తుంది. ఆల్రెడీ కంపెనీని డ్రోన్ చేసేసింది అప్పటికే బికాస్ ఆఫ్ ఇండివిజువల్ లూట్స్. అందుకే వాళ్ళు ఏం చేస్తారు, ఇన్వెస్టిగేషన్ స్టార్ట్ చేస్తారు. అండ్ దెన్ వాట్ హ్యాపెన్, ఫైనాన్షియల్ క్రైసిస్ వస్తుంది డ్యూ టు బెంగాల్ వల్ల. ఫైన్. అండ్ అపోజిషన్ టు మోనోపోలీ క్యాన్సిల్ చేసే వరకు వాళ్ళు ఒప్పుకుంటున్నా. ఇన్ని ఇయర్స్ నుంచి ఆల్మోస్ట్ 1600s నుంచి ఇక్కడి వరకు అంటే 1800s, ఆల్మోస్ట్ 170 years వాళ్ళు కంప్లీట్ గా వాళ్ళు ఎస్టాబ్లిష్ చేసుకున్నారు. ఇప్పుడు మేము మోనోపోలీ రద్దు చేస్తాం, వేరే వాళ్ళు కూడా ట్రేడ్ చేసుకోవచ్చు అంటే మేము ఆల్రెడీ సెట్ చేసి పెట్టినాం ప్లాట్ఫామ్. హౌ యూ కెన్ కమ్ నౌ? మేము ఎన్నో చేసి కింగ్స్ తోని బ్యాటిల్స్ చేసి అలయన్సెస్ చేసుకొని ఇండ్యూస్ చేసుకొని, ఓకే, మేము కట్ ఆఫ్ చేసుకొని ఆర్గనైజ్ చేసుకొని సెంట్రలైజేషన్ డీసెంట్రలైజేషన్ అండ్ ఎంతో అమౌంట్ మేము దేనికి పంపించినాం, బ్రిటిష్ ఎంపైర్ కి పంపించినాం. ఓకే, కంపెనీ ట్రేడ్ పేరుతో. టిల్ యు ఆర్ నౌ యు ఆర్ క్యాన్సిలింగ్ అవర్ మోనోపోలీ. సో దెర్ వాజ్ రెసిస్టెన్స్ అనమాట, కంప్లీట్ అపోజిషన్ ఫ్రమ్ ద ఈస్ట్ ఇండియా కంపెనీ. అండ్ ఎకనామిక్ అండ్ పొలిటికల్ ఇన్ఫ్లుయెన్సెస్ బై ఆడమ్ స్మిత్. మొత్తం కంప్లీట్ గా ఈ చాటర్ వల్ల ఏమైపోయిందంటే, మనం ఓపెన్ ట్రేడ్ ఏదైతే ప్రకటించినో వాళ్ళు, కంప్లీట్ ఇన్స్టెబిలిటీ వచ్చిందనమాట. ఇంకొకటి ఏంది, సబ్సిడరీ అలయన్స్. అది నిజాం యాప్ చేసుకున్నాం. నిజాం యాప్ ఎందుకు చేసుకోవాల్సి వచ్చింది, బికాస్ ఎవర్ లోన్. ఫైన్. ఇంకా వాళ్ళే లోన్ ఇచ్చి వాళ్ళే ఇంట్రెస్ట్ లేసి వాళ్ళే మొత్తం కంప్లీట్ గా ఏం చేసిండ్రు, బేరార్ని తీసుకున్నారు. ఓకే, దట్ ఈస్ ద డిఫరెంట్ క్రైటీరియా, విల్ సీ. సో ఏమైపోయిందంటే, ఒక ఎకనామిక్ పొలిటికల్ ఇన్ఫ్లుయెన్సెస్ మీన్స్ ఇన్స్టెబిలిటీ వచ్చింది ఇది కంప్లీట్ గా. దీని మోనోపోలీ క్యాన్సిల్ చేయడంతో ఏమైంది, క్రౌన్ యొక్క సావరానిటీ పెరిగింది. సావరానిటీ మీన్స్ ఇట్ ఈస్ రూలింగ్ డైరెక్ట్లీ, ఇట్ ఈస్ ఇండిపెండెంట్ టు రూల్ అన్నమాట. వాట్ ఈస్ ఇట్, దిస్ ఇండిపెండెంట్ టు రూల్ మీన్స్ ఆ క్రౌన్ తీసుకునే డెసిషన్స్ ని ఎవరు క్వశ్చన్ చేయడానికి లేదు. ఫైన్. అండ్ చార్టర్ రెన్యువల్ టర్మ్స్. చార్టర్ రెన్యువల్ టర్మ్స్ అంటే, ఆ చార్టర్ ఏదైతే మనకు ఫస్ట్ ఈస్ట్ ఇండియా కంపెనీ తీసుకుంది కదా, ఎవ్రీ 20 years కి అట్లా రెన్యువల్ చేసుకుంటూ రావాలి. సో ఫార్ అదే జరిగింది. కానీ ఎక్కడ అది చేంజ్ అయింది, 1813 లోపల దే హ్యావ్ క్యాన్సిల్ ద లైసెన్స్. ఆ రెన్యువల్ లైసెన్స్ ని క్లోజ్ చేసేసిండు. క్లోజ్ చేయడం వల్ల ఏమైంది, ఓపెన్ గా అందరికి వాళ్ళ మోనోపోలీ అనేది వెళ్ళిపోయింది. బట్ ఎక్సెప్ట్ చైనాతో కూడా ఏం ట్రేడ్ చేసుకోవడానికి, టీ ట్రేడ్ కోసం. ఓకే, అది తప్ప మిగతావన్నీ క్యాన్సిల్ అయిపోయినాయి. ఓకే, సో ఇక్కడ ఏమైపోయింది, ఫస్ట్ డీసెంట్రలైజేషన్ నుంచి సెంట్రలైజ్ చేసుకున్నారు. సెంట్రలైజేషన్ నుంచి ఏం చేసుకున్నారు, పవర్ ట్రాన్స్ఫర్ జరుగుతుంది స్లోలీ. పవర్ ట్రాన్స్ఫర్ స్టార్టెడ్ ఇన్ okay, so if we write clearly, ఫస్ట్ మనకి రెగ్యులేటింగ్ యాక్ట్ లో ఏమైంది, వాట్ హ్యాపెండ్ ఇన్ ద రెగ్యులేటింగ్ యాక్ట్, డీసెంట్రలైజేషన్ టు centralization initiated. Because we made General of Bengal to Governor General of Bengal. But still army powers were different. They were directly maintained by the crown. Fine. And next ఏమైంది, పిట్స్ ఇండియా యాక్ట్ లో ఏమైంది, there was strong establishment of centralization and Indians were excluded. Fine. Indians were excluded. Fine. And next, పిట్స్ ఇండియా యాక్ట్ తర్వాత ఏమొచ్చింది? చార్టర్ యాక్ట్ వచ్చింది. చార్టర్ యాక్ట్ 1 లో ఏం జరిగింది? What happened in the Charter Act 1? This is Charter Act 2. So what happened? Public awareness, Governor General became powerful, means strengthened, complete centralization అనేది వాళ్ళు అచీవ్ చేశారు. ఓకే, కంప్లీట్ centralization with lies with whom? Governor General. Governor General. Fine. Governor General. And then what happened in Charter Act 2? What is happening? Slowly power transfer anedi you can observe. Means Charter Act 2. What's happening here? Power transfer initiated from East India Company to Crown, British Crown. British Crown. Fine. British Crown ki the power transfer has been initiated. Fine. So what happened? Charter renewal terms cancelled. What is important in exam point of view is in which charter the monopoly was ended. There may be a question. Okay. And subsidiary alliance is also important. When, by which charter? In which chapter? 1813. Okay. Charter Act 2. This is called what? Charter Act 2. Fine. By second Charter Act, they introduced subsidiary alliance. Fine. These are two important points here. Monopoly ended, you have to remember, and subsidiary alliance. Okay, fine. So, what happened next? This is Charter Act 3. After 10 years, actually it has to come 20 years. But when it came, 10 years. Due to what? Industrial revolution. The impact of industrial revolution is impacted where? In India also. Fine. Yeah. Sorry. I'm sorry. 1813 to 1833. It is 20 years. Of 20 years. Even the renewal terms also after every 20 years only. Okay. The charter that is taken by the East India Company. Fine. So, push for free trade means as industry. What is industrial revolution? Sorry. Yeah. ఇండస్ట్రియల్ మ్యానుఫ్యాక్చరింగ్ ఎక్కడైతే ఇంట్రడ్యూస్ అయిందో అక్కడ ఒక కాన్షియస్నెస్ అనేది పెరిగింది. ఎవరి లోపల? లేబర్ లోపల. ఓకే, వాట్ ఈస్ దర్ ఫ్యూచర్? ఫైన్. సో ఇండస్ట్రీస్ పెరిగేసరికి లేబర్ ప్రొటెక్షన్ స్టార్టెడ్. ఓకే, labor protection. What are their rights? What are their minimum wages? What are their salaries? Because everything is taken by the industries. Mark oka protection లేదు. So what is our position? Fine. So ఇంతకు ముందు ఎట్లా ఇండస్ట్రీస్ ఇవన్నీ మన ఇండియా లోపల ఎట్లా ఎవ్రీథింగ్ ఈస్ హ్యాండ్ మేడ్. వీఆర్ నాట్ అవేర్ ఆఫ్ ఇండస్ట్రీస్ అండ్ ఆల్. అండ్ ఇండస్ట్రీస్ బట్ నాట్ ఎట్ ఆల్ ఎస్టాబ్లిష్డ్. Only railways were there due to what? To transfer the amount, wealth. Fine. సో వాళ్ళ పర్పస్ కోసం రైల్వేస్ వర్ ఇంట్రడ్యూస్డ్ అండ్ కొన్ని చోట్ల డ్యూ టు ద ఇంట్రెస్ట్ ఆఫ్ కింగ్స్ వాళ్ళు ఇండస్ట్రీ స్టార్ట్ చేసింది బట్ ఇట్ ఈస్ వెరీ వెరీ లెస్ ఓకే వాట్ ఎవర్ విత్ అస్ ఇస్ టెక్స్టైల్ ఇండస్ట్రీస్ అది కూడా హ్యాండ్ వన్ కాటన్ సిల్క్ అండ్ ట్రెడిషనల్ ఇండస్ట్రీస్ సో మనము ఆ ఇండస్ట్రియల్ రెవల్యూషన్ కి ఫస్ట్ థింగ్ తట్టుకోలేకపోయింది ఏది ఇండియా ఎస్పెషల్లీ ఇండియా బికాస్ వీఆర్ అండర్ ద కలోనియల్ కంప్లీట్ గా వాళ్ళ రూల్లో ఉన్నాం కాబట్టి అండ్ ఏమైపోయిందంటే పుష్ ఫర్ ద ఫ్రీ ట్రేడ్ మనం ఇక్కడ ట్యాక్సెస్ కట్టుకొని తీసుకొని అక్కడికి వెళ్ళినా గానీ ఆల్రెడీ అక్కడ ఇండస్ట్రీస్ దే ఆర్ మేకింగ్ ఇండస్ట్రీలో ఏమవుతుంది ఒకటి చాలా చీప్ గా తయారవుతుంది ఒక క్లాత్ ఒక షర్ట్ ఎంత చీప్ గా తయారవుతుంది అదే మన ఉవెన్ హ్యాండ్ మేడ్ ఆల్వేస్ కాస్ట్లీ ఈవెన్ నా సో మీకు ట్యాక్స్ కట్టి వాళ్ళకు ట్యాక్స్ కట్టి మేము ట్రేడ్ చేయాలంటే ఇట్ ఈస్ ఇంపాసిబుల్ సో ఆ గవర్నమెంట్ మీద ఏమైపోయింది అంటే దెర్ ఇస్ అ పుష్ ఫర్ ద ఫ్రీ ట్రేడ్ మీన్స్ అవాయిడ్ ద ట్యాక్సెస్ ఫర్ ట్రేడింగ్ అది ఎవరి మీద స్టార్ట్ అయింది ఆన్ క్రౌన్ బికాస్ ఇట్ ఈస్ ఓపెన్ ఫర్ ఆల్ ఫైన్ ఇప్పుడు ఏ కంపెనీ అయినా వచ్చి ట్రేడ్ చేసుకోవచ్చు నౌ వాట్ హ్యాపెన్ రూట్స్ ఆఫ్ ఇండస్ట్రీస్ రెవల్యూషన్ abolition of slavery this is important slavery is abolished in which chat they'll ask in multiple choice questions in which charter it is third okay in 1833 fine and abolition of companies trade monopoly ఇంతకు ముందు వరకు ఏమైంది చైనాతో ఉండే ఇప్పుడు కంప్లీట్ అబాలిషన్ అన్నమాట కంప్లీట్ abolition of monopoly of East India Company. There it goes. Next, Governor General of Bengal turned into Governor General of India. Fine. Governor General of India. Okay. This is not same as Viceroy. Viceroy in next step. Fine. First, Governor General, Governor of Bengal, Governor of Madras and all. Next, Governor General of Bengal and then Governor General of India. Fine. And next, it will turn into Viceroy. Fine. This is also important. And by which charter they have introduced Governor General of India? It is Charter Act of 1833. Charter Act 3. Fine. One more member added to the Executive Council. So for how many members are there in the Executive Council? 4. Okay. 4 members in the Executive Council and they will assist the Governor General of India now. Before Governor General of Bengal. Fine. There were 4. Now 4 plus 1. 5 members. Fine. And codification of laws. Codification of laws means there it started criminal procedure code and civil procedure code. Okay. This is the initiation of even in the last year. We use criminal procedure code and civil procedure code. What are this? Criminal procedure. Sorry, criminal penal code. Let's see. Penal code. Next, civil penal code. Okay. Even our police system is following the same that is established in 1833. Fine. So, codified laws and only one Governor General for all the India. Fine. And non-discrimination class section 87. Okay. Means Indians were not entertained in any services up to now. Then what happened? Indians started what? Indians entered, sorry. Indians entered from here. Okay. Still now we don't have any entry until what first phase will continue from only East India Company rule. Okay. After abolition of the East India Company, the Indians are getting into the what ruling. Fine. Now it is completely taking over by means the initiation started and it is abolished of a trade, but by 1958 authorized by the complete British Crown. Fine. So non-discrimination clause section 87 that consists of open appointments. What section 87 will tell is the open appointments Indians are also allowed. Fine. Indians are allowed into services now and no convenient services to Indian. Hence there are no special services to Indian. Okay. But in open category means openly, it is open for all. They can participate. And it is also not like their civilians. Means it is different from the Britishers and the way and job powers are different for the Indians. Okay. It is just participation started here. What is it? Participation is encouraged now. Fine. But not the equality. Fine. So, we are entering into Charter Act of 1853. Fine. It is very important. It is before 4 years before the 1857, the Sipai Mutiny. Fine. So, what happened is very important here. There are major changes. Then what happened? Raja Ram Mohan Rai means some prominent people were involved in the what executive council. Fine. So they're involved. Important Indians in their rule. For example, Raja Ram Mohan Rai. Fine. They have involved and they were listening to our what suggestions, even Sati. Okay. And one more thing, one more important here. In Charter Act 2, the Christian missionaries were came into India. Fine. In second charter. When it was happened, they are allowed. Christian missionaries were allowed to India according to that act to educate us. Fine. So they came in what? Charter Act 2 means in which year that is 1813. 1813. Fine. 1813. So what happened? So prominent people were involved in the executive council and Act of 1853 legislative reforms. Legislative reforms. So far, what is the composition? Legislature and executive body were same. Fine. Now they have separated legislative body and executive body. Okay. Means judiciary is separated when judiciary separated in 1773. But it came into existence in 1774. Okay. But it made by the Charter Act itself that judiciary got separated. Separate court was established in the Bengal. Fine. But when still the executive and legislature are the same. And executive and legislature is separated in what? 1853. Fine. In King's rule, King only responsible for the judiciary, responsible for the executive system, responsible for legislature. Okay, whatever he says, that will happen. Eventually, what happened in 1773, judiciary got separated. In 1853, we are separating executive system and legislature system. This form of government we are following now. Okay. Now we are following what? This separation of powers. Fine. So, where it is evolved from in 1853. Fine. Clear. So, the means they took reforms and they have separated what? Legislature and executive bodies. And structure of the Central Legislative Council. They have created one council for the legislature. That is called what? Central Legislative Council. That is nothing but a parliament. Suppose parliament. Okay, there were no elections and all for the Britishers. Fine, that is a different thing. But to comparatively, I am telling that parliament is similar to what? Central Legislative Council. Why? It will take the decisions of legislature. Fine. And all vacancies in India should be filled by the competition. This is also important. So when competitive exams started in India? 1853. Fine. Open competition started. By which act? Chartered Act of 1853. Okay. Open services means on merit basis they are electing. Indians are allowed to participate on the open competition system. Fine. It is evolution of competitive exams in India. Fine. And next, number of directors. It is eventually expanded the board of executives. Fine. Board of directors. They were called, and the Governor General of India and the executives are called board of directors. Fine. And then what happened? The number was increased to 24 from 18. Okay. The number was changed, means they are expanding the what? Executives, means expanding the ministries. Fine. Who are they? Executives are nothing but ministers. Okay. Fine. Public conduct of business means rule of law. What is it? Rule of law. We are not what? Detained until we break the rule of law. Means rule of law means how to behave as a citizens. What are the rules for us? Okay, what are the conduct for us to maintain the democracy, maintain the whatever the features mentioned in the preamble. Fine. So the public conduct of business mentioned in where? Charter Act of 1853. Fine. And competitive exams for the appointments. Okay. In exam point of view, what we need to remember? When competitive exam started? In 1853. Fine. And the structure, the legislature and executive got separated 1853. Fine. Is it clear? So this is the last charter of Act of 1858. Means before what happened in 1857? Sipai mutiny. It made very big change because they have realized that there is a revolution started on our crown, on our rule. So now what we have to do? We have to suppress politically. This is political agenda. So what happened? Why they ruled for the 250 years almost? Because of that political stability, political ruling only. Okay, they didn't control us by suppression or armed rebellion or anything. They made strategies and they stabled their government. Okay, they followed so many things. They followed decentralization, centralization. Again, they go for the decentralization. We'll see in the Crown's rule. Fine. Now, up to now, it is centralized unit. Fine. All under the control of Governor General of India. Fine. And again, what they'll do, they decentralize the powers after the viceroy. Fine. We'll observe that. So, all they follow is whatever the requirement is there, according to that, they made the political strategies. We have a serious revolution, and that started like the freedom desire in every Indian. We have to suppress it. How? Politically. Okay. So, what they did, due to these two reasons, what they introduced? Charter Act of 1858. And what happened? Legislative change. What they made, we'll discuss it. Abolition of company institutions. Okay. They completely abolished the company institutions, means complete abolition of what? Abolition of company traces. Okay. So what they did, whatever the East India Company, even though it is abolished, it was subordinating the rule. Okay. So from here in 1858, what happened? The empire took the rule from the company. Fine. So what happened? They abolished even the company institutions. Even why in 1857 the mutiny started? The company was supplying those guns. Okay. The company was maintaining armed forces. Means it was acting like a manager here. Fine. Even though it is not generating, it is not collecting the taxes and utilizing, the crown was organizing through the company. Now what happened? There is no company and company related institutions here. Okay, for example, what? I'll tell you what is this. It is a small story. We'll discuss it. Okay, we'll discuss this tomorrow. And Better Government of India Bill. What is it? Better Government of India Bill. This is nothing but, this tells us the direct rule of empire. What is it? Direct rule of empire. British Empire. Fine. And even they employed secretaries. Fine. Whom they employed? Secretaries of states. Well, employed. And Indian Council. Indian Council of what? We have already separated last time. What? Executive system and legislature system. Executive system, how many board members we have expanded? 24 members. And for even the legislature, how many we have done? Indian Council, 15 members means, sorry. Indian Council, we have took 15 members to the which body? Legislative body. Okay. For executive number, we have expanded 24. Executive means whom? Ministers, Council of Ministers in our terms. Legislatures means whom? Elected people, as it is democracy. But in a company rule, nominated people will be there. There are no elections conducted. Only in democracy, there will be elections will be conducted. So, who were the people? Nominated people. Okay. In this nominated people are also Indians were opened. Indians were there. Okay. Even though they were Indians, but they have no right to vote. Fine. They are not involved participate in the budget sessions. Fine. It is second phase. We are talking about which phase? Second phase. Second phase, Indians were allowed, but not involved in the budget making. Fine. So Indians were involved when they got separated, and to what? First, we need to suppress. How we need to suppress? We have to make you believe that you are also part of the government. If you are ruling by yourself along with us, what is your problem? Fine. That's why Indians were allowed, but they didn't have the power, but they were allowed. And control and oversight directly by the whom? That is by the British Empire. Okay. And Governor General became Viceroy. Fine. From the 1858, the Viceroy post was initiated. So Viceroy will directly report to whom? British Crown. He is an agent of British Crown now. Fine. He is an agent of whom? British Crown. Fine. Is it clear? Is an agent of British Crown. So we'll have glance all together. If I say more, you'll get confused. So this is about company rule. Okay. Today we'll discuss the company rule. We'll have a glance how it is changed. We'll have a recap session. Sorry. Break. Sorry. Continue చేస్తాం అంతటి వరకు. But we'll just revise. Okay. ఎందుకంటే ఒకటేసారి అన్నీ చెప్పింది అనుకోండి యుల్ గెట్ కన్ఫ్యూజ్డ్. ఇంతవరకు చాలు. సో ఇదే మనం ఒక్కసారి రివిజన్ చేసుకుందాం ఒక 15 minutes సో దట్ ఇట్ విల్ బి గుడ్. బికాజ్ ఆల్మోస్ట్ మనం ఎన్ని యాక్ట్స్ 7 యాక్ట్స్ డిస్కస్ చేస్తాం. సో ఇప్పుడు క్రౌన్ రూల్ కూడా నేను చెప్పింది అనుకోండి అంత లంప్ అయిపోతుంది. ఇఫ్ యూ clear about all these things, we'll go for further. So first what happened? It was British East India Company, Charter 1. It took the permission by Charter 1 by Elizabeth I. Okay, అది అగ్రిమెంట్ అనమాట. ఓన్లీ మేము మాత్రమే ఇండియా నాట్ ఇన్ ఇండియా ఏషియా లోపల ట్రేడ్ చేసుకుంటాం అని పర్మిషన్ తీసుకుని వచ్చాయి. ఓకే, ఇట్ ఇస్ స్టిక్డ్ ఇన్ ఏషియా, చైనా, సారీ ఇండియా అండ్ చైనా వెరీ వెల్, ఎస్పెషలీ ఇన్ ఇండియా. What happened? It started trading. Trade చేస్తున్న తర్వాత it has witnessed so many profits. Fine. సో ఏమైపోయింది, ఇక్కడున్న లూప్ హోల్స్, ఇక్కడున్న అన్యునైటెడ్ కింగ్స్ ఉన్నారు కదా, డిఫరెన్సెస్ ఉన్నాయి కదా. ఎవరికి వాళ్ళు ఏమనుకుంటారు, మేము పెద్ద కింగ్డమ్ ఫామ్ చేయాలి, మేము ఒక ఎంపైర్ ఫామ్ చేయాలి అని ఎవ్రీబడి విష్ టు డూ ఇట్. దానివల్ల ఏమైపోయింది, మన దగ్గర యూనిటీ లేదు. కానీ ఎవరు మిస్యూజ్ చేసుకున్నారు, ఈస్ట్ ఇండియా కంపెనీ మిస్యూజ్ చేసుకుంది. ఆ సబ్సిడరీ అలయన్సెస్ కానీ ఆ తర్వాత వాట్ ఎవర్ ఇట్ మే బి, ఇట్ మేడ్ ద డిఫరెన్సెస్ అండ్ ఇనిషియల్లీ ఇట్ డస్ నాట్ గెట్ ద పర్మిషన్ ఫ్రమ్ ద మొఘల్స్. ఫస్ట్ ఎప్పుడైతే 1600s లో వచ్చిందో ఇట్ డిడ్ నాట్ గెట్ ద పర్మిషన్ ఫ్రమ్ ద మొఘల్స్. లేటర్ ఆన్ వాట్ హ్యాపెండ్, జహాంగీర్ గివ్ ద పర్మిషన్ టు ఈస్ట్ ఇండియా కంపెనీ. ఓకే, ఈవెన్ దో అది 1700s వరకు కూడా వాజ్ నాట్ స్ట్రాంగ్. ఫైన్. ఏమైంది, ఫస్ట్ బ్యాటిల్ ఆఫ్ ప్లాసీ వచ్చింది. ఫైన్. సో బ్యాటిల్ ఆఫ్ ప్లాసీలో ఏమైపోయింది, బ్యాటిల్ ఆఫ్ ప్లాసీ బెంగాల్లోకి వెళ్ళి అసలు ప్లాసీ రావడానికి కారణం ఏంటంటే దే ఆర్ జనరేటింగ్ మనీ. ఈస్ట్ ఇండియా కంపెనీ మనీ జనరేట్ చేస్తుంది, ప్రాఫిట్స్ గెయిన్ చేస్తుంది, ఎవ్రీథింగ్ ఫైన్. వాట్ దే ఆర్ డూయింగ్ ఇస్ ఇండైరెక్ట్లీ దే వాంట్ టు క్రియేట్ సమ్ ఇంపాక్ట్. సో ఏం చేసింది, దే స్టార్టెడ్ బిల్డింగ్ ఫోర్ట్స్ కట్టడం స్టార్ట్ చేసి. సో అది ఆ కింగ్స్ కి నచ్చలేదు, నవాబ్స్ కి. హూ ఆర్ యూ టు బిల్డ్ ద ఫోర్ట్స్ ఇన్ అవర్ కింగ్డమ్, అంతే కదా, కింగ్ అయితే నేను కట్టాలి, అంతే తప్ప నువ్వెందుకు వచ్చి ఫోర్ట్స్ కడతావు. విక్టోరియా మహల్ ఉంది, ఐ మీన్ విక్టోరియా రెసిడెన్స్ ఉంది ఇంకో కల్కటా. It is British, it is built by whom? British. East India Company కట్టింది. So there was a war. But అప్పటికే almost 10 years అయిపోయింది. It was in 1757. అంటే ఆల్మోస్ట్ ఒక 18 years నుంచి దే వర్ ట్రేడింగ్. సో దే వర్ స్ట్రాంగ్ అండ్ దే బిల్ట్ ఆర్మర్డ్ ఫోర్సెస్ ఆల్సో. ఫైన్, వాళ్ళకు ఒక స్ట్రాంగ్ ఆర్మీ ఉంది. అది ఎక్కడి నుంచి సపోర్ట్ అవుతుంది? బ్రిటిష్ నుంచి సపోర్ట్ అవుతుంది, బ్రిటిష్ క్రౌన్ నుంచి సపోర్ట్ అవుతుంది. దే వాజ్ ఏ వాట్ బ్యాటిల్ ఆఫ్ ప్లాసీ. బ్యాటిల్ ఆఫ్ ప్లాసీలో వర్సెస్ మిరాజుద్దౌలా, ఎటు నవాబ్ ఆఫ్ బెంగాల్ వర్సెస్ బ్రిటిష్ ఈస్ట్ ఇండియా కంపెనీ. దెన్ వాట్ హ్యాపెండ్, సమ్ మీర్ ఆలం అని నవాబ్ దగ్గర కమాండర్ ఉంటాడు. ఆయన బేటరియల్ చేస్తాడు అనమాట. ద్రోహం చేసేసరికి, ఆయన అన్ని లీక్ చేసేసరికి ఈస్ట్ ఇండియా కంపెనీ విల్ విన్. అది కూడా వాళ్ళని బ్రైబ్ చేసి, అండ్ వర్స్ట్ థింగ్ ఏంటంటే చాలా మందికి డబ్బులు ఇచ్చేస్తుంది, సైనికులకి ఇచ్చి వాళ్ళని పార్టిసిపేట్ చేయకుండా చేస్తుంది యుద్ధం లోపల. అంటే మాకు ఇంత సైన్యం ఉంది అనుకుంటారు, కాకపోతే అక్కడికి వెళ్ళేసరికి ఉండరు. ఫైన్. సో ఎనీహౌ ఎవరు గెలుస్తారు? ఈస్ట్ ఇండియా కంపెనీ గెలుస్తారు. సో ఇట్ టుక్ ఓవర్ బెంగాల్. బెంగాల్లో మాత్రం ఇట్ గెయిన్ ద పవర్. నెక్స్ట్ అది వీళ్ళకి ఇష్టం ఉండదు ఎవరికి, అంతే కదా, వేరే వాళ్ళు వచ్చి ఇన్వైట్ చేసిండ్రు, అది కూడా వెరీ సింపుల్. సో బెంగాల్, అవధ్, నవాబ్ ఆఫ్ అవధ్, బెంగాల్ అండ్ ఎవరు మొఘల్స్. అప్పుడు మొఘల్స్ లో ఎవరు ఉంటారు? షా ఆలం టూ ముగ్గురు కలుస్తారు. ముగ్గురు కలిసి వర్సెస్ బ్రిటిష్ ఈస్ట్ ఇండియా కంపెనీ. ఇట్ ఈస్ 1764. ఏం చేస్తారు? బ్యాటిల్ ఆఫ్ బక్సార్ జరుగుతుంది. అప్పుడు ఏమవుతుంది? స్టిల్ సేమ్ థింగ్, బ్రైబ్ చేస్తారు, చీట్ చేస్తారు, అండ్ బ్రిటిష్ ఈస్ట్ ఇండియా కంపెనీ విల్ వాన్ ద వాట్ బ్యాటిల్ ఆఫ్ బక్సార్. అక్కడి నుంచి వాళ్ళ పొలిటికల్ స్టెబిలిటీ స్టార్ట్ అయింది. అంటే పొలిటికల్ ఇన్వేజన్ అనమాట కంప్లీట్. వాళ్ళు డైరెక్ట్ గా ఎప్పుడు ఇన్వైట్ చేయలేరు. వీళ్ళది ఏం చేసుకోవడానికి వచ్చిండ్రు? ట్రేడ్ చేసుకోవడానికి వచ్చిండ్రు. ఇక్కడ నుంచి దే గాట్ దివానీ రైట్స్. ఏమొస్తాయి వీళ్ళకి? దివానీ రైట్స్ వస్తాయి. దివానీ రైట్స్ అంటే దే కెన్ కలెక్ట్ ద ట్యాక్సెస్ అండ్ జ్యుడిషియల్ పవర్స్ కూడా వస్తాయి. ఫైన్. అంటే ఎగ్జిక్యూటివ్ వాళ్ళే అయినరు, ఇప్పుడు జ్యుడిషియరీ పవర్ కూడా వాళ్ళే అయినరు. కంప్లీట్ గా వాళ్ళు ఏం చేస్తారంటే బీహార్ లోపల, బెంగాల్ లోపల అండ్ మన ఒడిషా లోపల కంప్లీట్ గా వాళ్ళకి రైట్స్ వచ్చి దే బికమ్ ద కింగ్స్. దెన్ అక్కడ నుంచి వాళ్ళ ఎంపైర్ స్టార్ట్ అవుతుంది. ఇంకా ఇట్ ఈస్ ఏ కంపల్షన్ ఆఫ్ షా ఆలం టు గ్రాంట్ దివానీ రైట్స్ ఆఫ్టర్ ద బ్యాటిల్ ఆఫ్ బక్సర్. అక్కడ నుంచి ఒక్కొక్కటి ఇంప్లిమెంట్ చేసుకుంటూ పోతారు. అయితే దిస్ హ్యాపెండ్ ఇన్ 1764. ఫైన్. 1764 నుంచి 1770s వచ్చేసరికి దే గాట్ దివానీ రైట్స్. సో మీన్స్ దే ఆర్ కలెక్టింగ్ ద taxes directly. సో దే ఆర్ జనరేటింగ్ మోర్ అండ్ మోర్ రెవెన్యూ. ఎక్కడ? బాంబే, కల్కత్తా అండ్ మద్రాస్ కంప్లీట్ గా వాళ్ళ దాంట్లోనే ఉంటాయి. బీహార్ వచ్చింది, ఒడిషా వచ్చింది. సో వాళ్ళకి ఏమైపోతుంది అంటే ఈస్ట్ ఇండియా కంపెనీ ఈస్ బికమింగ్ రిచ్. దర్ ఇస్ అ మోర్ కరప్షన్, బట్ క్రౌన్ కి మాత్రం అమౌంట్ రావు. సో వాట్ దే వాంట్ టు డూ ఇస్ we need to regulate the East India Company. Then they'll initiate the first regulating act of 1773. Regulating Act of 1773. 1773 లో ఏమవుతుందంటే what they'll do is they'll start the centralization. Okay, fine. ఏం చేస్తారు? They have to report court of directors ని, they'll create a court of directors. Fine. One important thing ఏం చేస్తారు? What they'll do? They'll create a court of directors. ఈ court of directors ఎక్కడ అవైలబుల్ ఉంటారు? ఇన్ బ్రిటిష్ పార్లమెంట్. ఓకే, అండ్ they'll change. వీళ్ళు కంప్లీట్ గా ఎవరికి రిపోర్ట్ చేయాలంటే కోర్ట్ ఆఫ్ డైరెక్టర్స్ కి రిపోర్ట్ చేయాలి. Those court of directors are answerable to British Empire. Fine. Whatever happens in India, then they have to answer. సో ఇక్కడ ఏం చేస్తున్నాం మనం? రెగ్యులర్ డీసెంట్రలైజ్డ్ సిస్టమ్. ఫైన్. పవర్స్ ఆర్ డిస్ట్రిబ్యూటెడ్. ఎవరి పవర్స్ వాళ్ళకు ఉన్నాయి. మీన్స్ డీసెంట్రలైజ్డ్ సిస్టమ్ ఇన్ రెగ్యులేటింగ్ యాక్ట్. బట్ దెన్ వాట్ హ్యాపెండ్? పిట్స్ ఇండియా యాక్ట్ వచ్చింది. వాట్ హ్యాపెండ్? సారీ, సో గవర్నర్ ఆఫ్ బెంగాల్ ని గవర్నర్ జనరల్ ఆఫ్ బెంగాల్, అండ్ ఆయనను ఎవరికి హెడ్ చేసిండ్రు? బాంబే ఇంకా మద్రాస్ ప్రెసిడెన్సీస్ కి హెడ్ చేస్తారు. సో దట్ ఇనిషియేట్ చేస్తారు డీసెంట్రలైజేషన్ ప్రాసెస్ నుంచి సెంట్రలైజేషన్ కి. బట్ స్టిల్ ఇట్ ఈస్ నాట్ ఇంప్లిమెంటెడ్ కంప్లీట్లీ బికాస్ హీఈస్ నాట్ పవర్ఫుల్. subordinate చేసినప్పటికీ he doesn't have a armed power, he doesn't have executive power also ఉండదన్నమాట కంట్రోల్ చేసేది. సో ఇట్స్ జస్ట్ ద ఇనిషియేషన్. నెక్స్ట్ దే ఫీల్ దట్ నో వీ నీడ్ టు డెఫినెట్లీ regularize the everything. Fine. Regularize everything. Then what happens? They started making changes. Still, it is not getting better and what. And and one more thing here, 1773 lopala, they implemented Supreme Court in where? Bengal. Okay. They have separated the judiciary from regulating act. Fine. Before that, executive plus judiciary plus legislature will lies with the king's own. Fine. Now they got separated judiciary in the regulating act. Next, what will happen in Pitt's India Act 1874? Okay, we'll take a small break of 2 minutes and I'll resume. So, what you're asking, Court of Directors? Both are different. Why? Because it is initial charter, okay, where it is mentioned in Pitt's India Act. Fine. In Pitt's India Act, what they mentioned? Board of Directors, right? In Pitt's India Act, right? And in regulating act, they mentioned what they mentioned? Court of these both are different. The difference comes is they'll stay at British Parliament. They'll be in India to assist who? Governor General of Bengal. Fine. Here they are accountable for India. Hence, all the execution here is explained by them in British Parliament. Okay, they'll stay in British Parliament. Here they assist the Governor General. Am I audible? They'll assist the Governor General of Bengal by here only. They'll stay in India. Okay, here they are directly responsible to whatever the execution is happening here. They are explaining in the British Parliament. Fine. That is the major difference. Is it clear? No. It is not. We are going back. Fine. It is not separated. Executive and legislative system is same. Fine. So, where we are? Pitt's India Act. Okay. When it is done? 1784. Okay. Supreme control by the British government on whom? East India Company. Okay. They want to regularize it. Fine. So, Board of Control in India, executive matters. Okay. It will stay in India to assist the Governor General of Bengal. Fine. And subordination is given to the whom? Governor General of Bengal. Fine. Who are the subordinates? Bombay and Madras. Fine. And centralized administration and two matters in what? Commander-in-Chief and Governor General. Governor General means in execution also. Means executive actions and military actions were not supported for the Governor General of Bengal in Regulating Act. But by Pitt's India Act, what they have done, they have given the powers to Governor General of India in two manners. In executive manner also, in military. Fine. army support also. Okay, fine. He can take the decisions. Means army also now united. United means all the British army, wherever the company rule is there, that can be united. Fine. So they are centralizing the what? The power from decentralization. Fine, clear? And next, first Charter Act. Fine. They have renewal the what? Agreement for 20 years to whom? East India Company. Means every 20 years that what? Renewal should be happen for the trade. Fine. So what major changes has done? First thing is written laws were introduced. Fine. Written laws were introduced. Okay. Otherwise, we'll make one note of everything. Then it will be clear. Right on. So we'll clearly mention. First, what happened? Regulating Act. Okay. What are the major changes? Yeah. Separation of judiciary and process of centralization initiated. Okay. Initiated and Governor General of Bengal. And who? Court of Directors. Fine. Court of Directors. These are the major changes in Regulating Act. And then what happened? Which act came? Fits India Act. And which year? Fits India Act? 1780? Yes, 84. Okay. So what are the major changes happened here? First thing, strengthening the Governor General of India. Sorry, Governor General of Bengal. Governor General of Bengal. Fine. In which way? Military plus executive. Fine. And what happened? Board of Directors were created to assist him. Board of Directors were created to assist him. Fine. Okay. Renewal. They have renewal for 20 years more. Okay. Fine. These are the major changes in Fits India Act. Next, what will happen? Charter Act of 1. Okay. Which act? The first Charter Act. Which year? 17? Sorry?
93.
1793. I had it like 83. That's why I'm asking you. Okay. So 1783, what happened? What are the major changes done by? What are the major changes? Written constitution means written law. Okay. Written law and exclusion. This is Okay, codified laws. Codified laws for whom? Governor General of Bengal. Okay. What is the main important thing here? Centralization is established. First thing. Because laws are also made. So, centralization is established. And written laws were introduced. Introduced. Fine. And what happened in the Charter Act 2? Charter Act of 1813. Fine. What happened? Committee of investigation started to probe the officials of East India Company. Fine. And open trade. This is important. It has opened the trade for everyone. Fine. And it has ended the monopoly except trade to China. Fine. And there is a opposition from the company to the monopoly and all. Financial crisis faced by the East India Company and sovereignty of the crown is initiated. Okay, is initiated. And yeah, so what are the important points? Charter Act 2 is 1813. What is the important thing? Trade monopoly of company ended except free trade with China. And trade is open for all. Open for all. Fine. In first Charter Act, written laws were introduced, and second Charter Act, what happened? The trade has ended. Okay, it is open for all. And next, what happened in the Charter Act 3? What happened? This is also fine. This Governor General of India. Okay, what is the major change? Governor General of India. Fine. Governor General of India. So, and one more member added to the executive body. Codified laws. This is also important here. And Indians were encouraged to win the councils. Means there is an opportunity open for the Indians. Fine. Charter Act 3. This is in 1833. So what are the major changes? First thing, Governor General of India is made. Means complete centralized institution. What is it? Complete centralized institution. Have seen board of members. Okay, that is only executive council that is assisting the whom? Governor General of Bengal. Okay, now what happened? Those 4 members, that executive council, how it is changed? 4 plus 1. Okay, one more member was added. And criminal procedure code and civil procedure codes were introduced. This is what? Legislation. Fine. They are making rule of law and code of conduct for the civilians. Fine. So codified laws and Indians, there were openings for the Indians. Of course, there were opening for the Indians, but not all are alone. There is no open competition held. Okay. If someone important has to be in the as their members, they used to be. But they are nominal in nature. They cannot participate. They only can hear. They cannot raise their voice. Fine. Okay. Up to before Charter Act, up to Charter Act 2, it is a first phase. Fine. From Charter Act 3, it has been second phase. Means Indians are involved. Fine. From, I'll tell you, tomorrow we'll see what is the third phase. How Indians are involved in ministries. Fine. Okay. Fine. Openings for the Indians were made. And Charter Act 4. When it is 1853. So, the expanded number of directors from 18 to 24. Fine. And public conduct of business means rule of law is established. Fine. Competitive exams. These are where it is Charter Act of 4 means 18, which here this is 53. Fine. After this Sipahi Mutiny, after that 1858. Fine. So what are the major changes? Competitive exams. Exams were introduced. Fine. Competitive exams were introduced. And what is the another major change here? Board of Directors. Board of Directors for Executive Councils. And this is Board of Directors expanded 18 to 24. Okay. And Indians were also involved. Indians were also involved. And one more important point, initiation of rule of law. What is it? Rule of law. Fine. And next. So, Charter Act, this is the last Charter Act. Charter Act, fine. We have 5 Charter Acts and 1 Pitt's India Act and 1 Regulating Act. Totally 7. Fine. In Companies Rule. Tomorrow we are going to see Crown's Rule. Okay. So, here what happened? The complete, the complete abolition of companies' monopoly. Fine. Companies' monopoly even to the China, and there were council members were created. Council members were created. Fine. And abolition of companies instituted government of India by secretary. And now the Governor General has changed into what? One more point we missed here. They have separated what? Legislative powers and executive powers. Separation of legislature and executive. For anything, there are no elections. For every board, there are nominated people only. Okay? And these competitive exams are different. They are for the civil services. Okay? Administration purpose, and they are not political administrators. They are permanent administrators. And these are temporary administrators. They are nominated by whom? The British Crown. Okay? They can be rotated and their tenure, everything will be fixed by the Crown. Okay? According to the requirement, they'll shuffle the people. Fine. There were no elections. So the last Charter Act, what it is? (1858). This is 51st. Fine. What are the major changes? Complete abolition of East India Company. Complete abolition of East India Company. Fine. That is a major change, and the Crown started ruling. Crown rule was initiated. And the major change, the Governor General of India is turned into Viceroy. Okay, who's that? Viceroy. And whenever the term is changing, the role is also changing. Fine. General became Governor General. Then also there is some special rule. Governor General of Bengal became Governor General of India. Then also that role is different. When Governor General of India is turning into Viceroy, the role is different. What is the different role? We'll see in company's rule. Okay. So is this clear up to now? Fine. Is this clear? Do you have any doubts? Online students? Online students? Is this clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So we'll see tomorrow what is, not tomorrow, tomorrow polity class won't be there. Day after tomorrow, I'll be taking the class. August 15th also, you'll be having classes. Fine. So what we'll take is, what is company rule? And if it is possible, I'll start the drafting committee also. Fine. Time permits, I'll initiate an introduction regarding the drafting committee. Fine. Monday onwards, we'll see how, what are the functions of Constituent Assembly, or how drafting committee, how the constitution is made. Fine. Is it clear? Shall we close the session? Once, please go through the Lakshmikant book. Okay. After this, daily, whenever I take the class, go through the Lakshmikant book. It will be clear for you. Fine. Shall I close the class? Online students?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.